What's up, what's up? What's up, everybody? Coming in, coming in. Beautiful, beautiful. Ruju. Hey, Ruju. Yo, this is awesome. This is awesome. We're having people coming in. We have Trading with Paul come in. We have Kya Hua Bhai come in. Get the lights in the background. No, the lights are running. Lights are running. You know, we got the lights running over here. Yeah, the lights are running good. Coca-Cola. Yeah, so this live session is brought to you by, I would say, partly Coca-Cola, and other part is going to be by Market Fluidity. So we're going to talk about some things over here. What's this? Wicking himself? Yeah. Get Ted and talking options. I don't know if you can get talking options up over here because, you know, like, so far we're not friends anymore. So we're going to stay away. But are you big? No, not yet. Iron Man going down on you, accusing you to be fraudulent. You know what? That's okay. He messaged me saying that he apologized for his bad behavior, and at the same time I was like, okay, you know what? That's totally fine. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about risk, right? We're here to talk about risk. I've had this month, 2020, has been one of the this year 2020 has been one of the most amazing years I've had to date, financially, mentally, and everything. Right, I've accomplished so much, and I think one of the biggest reasons why that accomplishment was there was because of risk. You know, we managed risk because, I mean, at the same time, like when you're trading. I think most people trade for the moment, right? When you look at the charts, you just want to be in the trade. You want to be in that trade. You don't want to let that trade go, because at the same time, what happens most times is basically like when you're trying to execute a trade, you're making sure this trade goes your way. What if it doesn't go your way, right? What if it doesn't go your way? What if it just goes the opposite way and stops you out? So the big thing is like, what are you going to do when you take a loss? Because most times, you know, like I have people in our groups, we have a group and there are people in that group, and sometimes, you know, they have profitable trades, right? They take trades and they're winning trades, and that's not the problem. The problem is what happens when you take a losing trade. Because whenever you take a losing trade, mentally, psychologically, you want to revenge that trade, you know, take another trade, and you're like, a lot of times people ask me, hey man, like what's the best way to just not overtrade? And the best way to not overtrade is just to not overtrade. Just stop. You know, have like a routine. Most people don't have strict routines in their life. Now, statistically, what I've seen is like older people join my group, like, you know, in their like late 30s, 40s, early 30s, even like, you know, working professionals, they tend to do well in trading, right? The only reason is because, like, you know, they got families, they got work, they got their own businesses to run, you know. So when they're done from trading, they have all these things to manage, all these things to do. But when you're in your like early 20s, mid 20s, you know, you're trying to figure things out, you have a lot of time on your hands. So when you have a lot of time on your hands, man, you have nothing else to do, right? So when you're looking at the charts, you're like, man, I'm grinding on these charts. I'm going to grind on these charts, and I'm going to make sure I know everything that's there to know about these charts. You know, like when you're young, basically, you don't have many things to do. So I think that's when you have to really understand that, okay, how am I going to fill the parts of my day which are empty? You know, so you have to pick up hobbies. You'll have to do something to keep you busy. You know, back in the day when I started, what's this? Oh. Someone sent me a bank receipt of someone withdrawing almost like 120,000, but okay, that's okay. Listen, you know, right, Josh, like that same guy. All right, what's this? Had been doing really well until I over leveraged today and I lost. See, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like when you're over leveraging, that's not helping you. Now, here's the thing, right? When you start, what basically happens is you're like, okay, you know what? I'm going to start this week. Now new month is starting, right? The only reason I'm doing this live now, soon I'm going to have guests over so that we can participate. People are sending me messages over here. so we can participate more, right? So we're gonna have guests over soon, like, like participants here. So basically, this is the new month starting, right? So when new month is starting, new goals are starting as well. Now, there's one thing I want to address, and that address is towards, I know certain people who've put money with certain people, right? In the promise of returns, that you're like, okay, like, you know what? Here's some money, and with this money, they're guaranteeing you some percentage returns, right? That does not happen. That's false. So if you're involved in something like that, or if you're involved in a cycle where now you're basically unintentionally running a Ponzi scheme, you have to get out of it. Because sooner or later, that pot is basically a pot that's boiling. Sooner or later, that pot is going to burst, and then you'll have to create plans to make amends or whatever, right? So anyway, this is a new month, right? New month is starting, new goals are starting. You have to set yourself goals, right? If you've had a losing month in September, if you've had a losing month in August, whatever you've had a losing month, that's in the past. One big mistake traders make is like they say, okay, like, what? New month is starting. My losses, so these were my losses, and my aim is to get those losses back. The fact of the matter is, you will not be able to get your losses back. Those losses, forget about it. They're done. If you move on to the new month thinking that you will get your losses back, man, listen, you're going to be chasing those losses, because now you have to start fresh. And the best way to start fresh is to just really see that, okay, what's the account size you're going to start with? Will it going to be like a $1,000 account? Will it going to be like a $5,000 account, a $500 account? And then you have to make goals. A goal is going to be that, okay, what goal am I going to have for this month? Let me turn this off here. One second. All right, much better over here, right? So the goal is going to be like, what's going to be the percentage for this month? Whether it's going to be 10%, whether it's going to be 20% for this month, right? So you have to look at it. You have to look at it from a monthly perspective, right? If you're looking at, okay, it's going to be like, let's say 20% for the month. If it's 20% for the month, how much percentage is that for a week? So you're breaking it down. So it's like, okay, it's 5% per week. If it's 5% per week, how much percentage is that for a day? And now you're breaking down into, okay, like, maybe that's like 1% a day, right? So when it's 1% a day and you have $1,000 account, you have to understand 1% on $1,000 is $10, right? So you're grinding $10. You're trying to grind $10, and then at the end of the month, you're coming up with, let's say, $200 profit on a $1,000 account. That's a lot. That's a lot. Most people don't understand that. Now I have the liberty to have a bigger account. I have a bigger account, so now for me to do 10%, it's probably like $10,000 or like $8,000, but I started from somewhere too. I started from the ground up. This was like 4 or 5 years ago, and that built up. So you have to look at it from a percentage perspective, because here's what's going to happen, right? Now, sometimes, you're someone who has a lot of money in the bank, or who has a lot of disposable income, and you're coming into trading as a new trader, and you're like, okay, you know what? I'm going to test the waters with a $1,000 account. So you test the waters with a $1,000 account, and then once you're trading based on percentage, and you find out that, okay, hey, like, you know what? In let's say 2 months, your gain is, let's say, 15%. Or in 2 months, you can say, okay, like, you know what? I haven't overtraded. I haven't over-risked. I focused on 1 or 2 trades a day, and that's basically working right now. Then you can say, okay, like, you know what? Now I can add more money to the account. Now I can add more money. But the thing is, man, listen, it takes time. Sometimes like you take a trade and you want to rush the trade, because you see someone making X amount, you see someone making 50%, but then you have to ask yourself, okay, if someone's making 50%, is he doing that every day? Right? Is that done every day? I don't do 50%. I don't do 50%. Like when I first started, I was like, oh man, like, you know what? These guys, they're doing 80%, they're doing 60%. This guy here, he just did $1,000 on his $3,000 account. I want to do that, And I used to believe that that's how you trade, And my mentor, Ted was my mentor, and he used to tell me, hey, no, man, like listen, this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. And I was saying, no, this is a sprint. And you know what happens when you run fast, man? You trip and you fall, and I tripped and fell. And then I realized, okay, you know what? This is a marathon. This is a marathon. This takes time, man. This thing takes time. But I can promise you this, right? Here's what's going to happen. the way how I operate, the way how we teach, it's not focused on money, right? Because here's the thing: everyone knows how to do technical analysis. Everyone can pull out their Fibonacci's, draw it from the swing high to swing low. Everyone can do all those technical stuff. It's easy. Everyone can read a chart. Managing risk is the most important thing, because here's the thing, man. Like, everyone's chasing this dream of making a lot of profits. It's all well and good if you make profits. That's perfectly fine. But like, you need to manage risk today, because your profits are not going to increase in a month, 2 months, 3 months. But when you start managing risk changes from today, from tomorrow, from whenever you're going to try to trade again, right? That's when your risk is going to change. So now what we're going to do is we're going to try to get some guests here. So first one is Jerry's Madanat. Jerry's Madanat. We're going to get some Jerry's Madanat, and we're going to try to answer some questions here. If someone needs our help, so we're going to try to answer that. This stream is brought to you by hello there.
Oh shit.
Hey man. What's your name and where you from?
Jarius, and I'm from Pennsylvania.
Oh, Pennsylvania, man. How are you? Your thing is still loading over here.
Yeah, I don't see you. Let me see.
Okay, awesome, bro. So tell me about this. How'd you find out about our YouTube channel or my profile? What happened?
Well, what was it, last year, September? My friend, he actually showed me your Instagram, and I just followed you since.
Oh, nice, awesome. So are you trading yourself?
Yeah.
How's that going for you right now?
It was kind of a rough start, but since April, I've been pretty much been profitable, keeping losses small.
Oh, nice, bro. So from all the time you've been following me and watching my videos, what's that one advice that you're gonna give someone who's new or someone who just recently started following the live streams and the things you do here?
Just be patient.
Oh, nice. Why? Like that, man. Patience. That's pretty hard.
Yeah, I've been doing it for almost 3 years now, but I haven't been profitable since April, and it just takes time.
Okay. So, have you ran up your account and then came back down again?
Yeah, I did that a couple times. When I first started, I would have a big win, and then next thing I know, I'd blow my account because I'd start over trading, and it was just crazy.
See, here's the thing. Here's what I think happens. So bro, no one can see you, so I'm just gonna cut this off, but I'm gonna explain one thing here. But it was really nice talking to you, though, Jerry.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Take care.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
So here's what happens, right? Normally what happens is that when we're trading, right, sometimes we have these lucky runs, sometimes we get this trade which moves really fast. So most times what happens is that we're so involved in running up our account or running up with percentage that we forget about withdrawing. That's the thing, because a lot of people I talk to, they're like, hey, you know what, I've ran up my account a lot of times, I've taken some sick trades, I've made a lot of money, done really decent, but haven't done any withdrawals. Why? Why aren't you doing any withdrawals? Because you know what happens? When you don't do withdrawals, you don't feel the withdrawal. And when you don't feel a withdrawal, you don't chase it. It's like a heroin addict. It's like when someone compounds the account, they're like, oh man, you know what, perfect. I'm going to keep compounding. So you're chasing that compound. Once you start chasing that compounding, man, things just get really, really bad over here. So we're having another guest over here. Let's take a look at it right. Oh, we got Illuminati coming in over here. All right, let's get this long-time follower here, first-time listener. Hello there.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you? What's your name and where you from?
I'm Ted from Vancouver.
Oh, Vancouver.
Vancouver. Yes.
Oh.
No. Good to see you, sir. I've been quiet on the streams. I've been there. You've seen me. We talked. Doesn't matter. But that was good. It was a good point that you were bringing up. I think a lot of times when people are trading, I think the biggest thing, and you learned this too, is telling the story. I think when we tell stories, it allows the trade to be a little bit more complete. especially in the live stream, being able to deduct why you're doing something and being able to put theory into practice. People don't do that because it's a perfect example. When you do the live stream, people send you a chart, and what do? They give you arrows. They give you arrows, and they say, this is what I think is going to happen. And then we say, well, what's going to happen? Like, what are you thinking? And I know that people that are giving you those charts are trading the exact same way, because we can tell the difference when people give good charts versus people not giving good charts at all. Sorry, let me mute my TV. Oh, I was just muting my TV. Sorry, I'm watching Step Brothers.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I think that's the biggest thing. And also, too, understanding the market where it is in certain days, certain weeks, right? End of the month, we know that there's going to be big pushes, and you know that next month everything's going to pull back, right? It's just the understanding of that thing. And like you said, trading's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, I used to think it was a sprint. Remember, I said, no, Ted, like, we got to get this now. It's a sprint. No.
I'm just happy I don't have to pay for dinner anymore. That's what I'm happy about. We went out to dinner and Raja paid for it. But then he's also learned how to expense business expenses.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's my goal now. Because like 2020, I learned a lot. You know, I learned a lot in terms of like managing finances. And now I'm just like, holy shit, 2021 has like a lot of structuring has to be done. Oh, your wireless AirPods over there.
Yeah, people say I have a hearing aid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's the other thing too. And I think people have to get used to making withdrawals and paying themselves. That's the biggest thing, because a lot of times people want to run up that account from like $1,000 to 100,000. But when you think about it logically, you've never had 100,000 to begin with. The average person's never had 100,000. And what they're thinking is they're thinking that they need that 100,000. But what they don't realize is, like, a car payment's $500. A cell phone bill is $100. When you start paying those bills and it's not coming out of your bank account, suddenly your bank account grows. And that's when you actually get confidence and you start relieving a lot of pressure in what you're doing when you're trading.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. And like once that withdrawal comes in, you start chasing that. Cause like, I remember like my first good withdrawal was like $4,200, and it came in my bank account, and I saw it grew from 12,000 to 16,000 something, just like that. I was like, whoa, okay, this is pretty sick. This is like something I never had. You know, so, and then you start chasing that withdrawal, you know. So I think when people are new, like, you know, it's this facade of like making the most as fast as you can. Because like when you start trading, that's one of the first things you're told. Like you can make as much money as you want, whenever you want, from wherever you want. You know, but then as time passes, you know, you see people, you listen to them, be like, okay, you know what, that actually wasn't true.
Yeah, I don't think people have a realistic view about life and about the costs associated with life. I think reality is most people can live on $5,000 or $6,000 a month. And when you equate that over, say, 10 trading days or 15 trading days, that's only like $300, $400 a day profit that you're making. And if in 20 days, for you to make $5,000, you're not really making that much per day. You're just grinding it out. But people don't want to do that. They think that they need 100,000. And you know, we talk about this all the time. It's like people turn around and say, you know, like once you make money, like you made 40,000 this month or something. I made 600,000. I don't know what to do with the money. I don't know what to do with the money. So it just sits there, right?
Yeah, it's just. To me, it's just like...
It's a game now. You just click buttons and it just sits there. But it gives you a sense of, you know, stability where it's like, hey, I'm out here right now doing whatever I want to do, and then I'll come back to Toronto next week or come back here the week after. And it's that freedom. But it's also when you have $500 worth of bills and your bills got paid by you doing something every morning, That's huge. And,
Yeah,
and people don't realize that. They don't realize that until you start actually making that money and withdrawing it and paying off bills, you will never understand what the power of Forex is.
I want to ask you this, and I haven't really asked you this. What was that moment when you walked into your office? Like, yeah, I've known you since 5 years now, you know, four or 5 years now. That moment you walked into your office and you're like, okay, you know what? I actually did a lot better than all of these people here combined, and I'm okay with that.
You know what it was? When I was working in corporate, I think the biggest challenge is you're there and you're competing for promotions. You're competing to get a pay raise. You're competing against other people, and you're told constantly that this is how good you are, right? You get a performance review. This is how good you are, and you're not ever told that you can do other things in your life. And I remember it was like 2016, like maybe March of 2016. And I traded gold that day, and I made like 16,000 in the morning, and it was US dollars, so that's like 22,000 Canadian in the morning. And I walked into the office and I looked at everybody. I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, this is a job for people that aren't me. And I just made I just made 4 months of my salary in one day. And it was that idea of breaking the mold. But the thing was, when I realized I made that money, I was also scared, because it's like, now I got to keep that money, because it's not real until you withdraw it, right? Because the next day you can just blow your account. You can just do something stupid, right? So I think it's once you start realizing the power of that, but it's also too understanding that you deserve the money. Like, people put in so much work and they don't realize that you're entitled to this money. If you're putting in all this chart time, you're showing up to the live streams every morning. That's a work. That's a job. Pay yourself. Like, people have this misconception that, oh, well, I'm not making 100,000, then that's not money. That's not anything that I'm going to do. I'm not making it. But man, if you make $1,000 in a week sitting at a live stream at 6:30 in the morning, you're doing better than everybody that's traveling on a bus, everybody that's traveling to work, everybody that's doing things there that, you don't have to do. Oh, it's silent.
Oh shit! You know what happened? It's funny, right? So
Yeah.
let me put this in. There's nothing over there. I'm like, oh man. This is useless.
Yeah. But I mean, I think once people start to realize the power of the money and what you can do with it, it becomes a lot better. I think people really need to understand that, and they need to understand that they're putting the time in to do the work, and they're not rewarding themselves. It's like when you go to a casino and you play poker for like 12 hours and then you lose all the money at the 13th hour. It's like you wasted a whole day. Like, why are you doing that to yourself?
Yeah, like at the same time, like someone can say, well, it's easier to say that now when you're not trying to grow your account. But at the same time, I think the problem is that when you don't have some sort of an income coming in, then it gets really, really hard to just grow your account piece by piece by piece. But if that account is the only thing you have financially left in your life, man, then it gets really, really tough.
Yeah, I think it's the truth. I think people have to be realistic, and they have to humble themselves. They have to say to themselves, hey, listen, I need to go work at Starbucks. I need to go work at Denny's. I need to go work at pumping gas so that I can have some stability. And then when I make money from Forex, I'm out. And use that as your stepping stone. And I think a lot of people don't want to do that. They don't want to accept the fact that you got to put in that work. And I think once you humble yourself, you'll realize the value of money. Like, people turn around and they laugh, right? It's like you see $1 on the floor, people walk by it. I pick it up. I don't care. It's money. Like, yeah. I'm very conscious of what I'm doing with my money. And people say, well, you have so much. But that's the reason why I have so much, because I haven't squandered it on stupidity. Like, I realized that there was a time when I was working at a job that I was grinding out a job 9 to 5, taking a bus, taking a subway to get to work. I don't have to do that anymore. Like I'm sitting in another province, just hanging out in another place that I live in, and it's like because I can, right?
Yeah, I know that's true. I was actually talking to my brother the other day, and we were talking about how there was a time when we were trying to get our like our leather stuff working on, and we were really thinking about whether we should go buy the water bottle or should we just use the water fountain to fill up the bottle we already have, because things are so tight. And I think when you go through those phases and when you really get sort of income which puts you at a stage where you don't have to worry about that in the moment, you really start thinking that, okay, do I really need to spend certain amount on this thing or on that thing? Like, sometimes guys say, hey, like, you know what, Raja, why don't you get like nice shoes, a nice this and that? So I'm like, okay, like, you know what, everything has a place, but it's not necessary for me to go out of my way to spend it when I don't have to, right? Because like, I mean, at the same time, like the less you spend, the more you have, but at the same time, you need to get comfortable as well.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think a lot of times people are buying things because they're completing their life. Like there's pieces that are missing in their lives. There's a void, right? Like we go out, the biggest thing that we want to do is go out and eat, have a good time and talk. Like we never talk about like what we're buying or what we're doing or any of that. Like it never crosses our minds. It's more of the experience of like coming out with everybody. Like the other time we went to dinner with like six people. It was fun just to hang out and talk and just relax. And I think a lot of times people don't have that opportunity because they're missing things. So they fill up the voids with material things. And it's true, because once you start to realize that, hey, a $10 t-shirt is a $10 t-shirt versus, a $10 pair of shoes or whatever. Like people turned around to me the other day and they're like, well, why did you get your shoes cleaned? They kept my shoes cleaned, cost me $80, right? But I like those shoes, right? I just like wearing them. They're comfortable. I got them over here actually. Like I can go to my front door. Like I literally brought them with me to Vancouver.
Yeah, why don't you just go buy new ones and everything?
I bought them. Yeah, but then look, I've got another pair. Like I got another pair sitting there in my closet. Like so it's like it's not that I can't afford them. It's just I like certain things. So when things like that happen, it's like, hey, why not take advantage of that, right? And I think a lot of times people they don't look at that from the standpoint of like, do I really need it? And then you start to realize things are good. So
yeah, no, that's true.
all right, I won't keep you much longer because these guys don't want to hear me talk anymore. I guess they missed me when I was talking before, like the other day, right? So it's all good.
You take care. All right, take care. All right, that was one of our guests here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get another guest on here, and let's see what we're going to do. We're going to do a raffle draw. We have around six requests. So let's see here. We have Harry Little. Harry Little in the house. We have Harry Little coming up. So we can get out of Harry Little here.
Hello.
Hello there, Harry. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very surprised you accepted my live stream. Wow.
Oh, nice. Where are you from, man?
I'm from England, but I live in Scotland at the moment.
Oh, okay, Scotland. Yeah, Scotland's a pretty nice place. I've seen on YouTube greenery and meadows and all that.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, no. Well, I live in Aberdeen, which is like, it's not around the mountains, which is the nice part, but it's decent here. Yeah.
Oh, nice, bro. Listen, I want to ask you, will you watch the live streams?
Yeah, I watch them every now and then when I get a chance to. But most of the time, most of my trading is just through an algorithm and EA.
Oh, EA and algorithms. That's pretty interesting.
The risk management behind it is horrendous, but it does work. It is consistent.
How'd you get into it? Like the trading and then all the algos and EAs?
Yeah, so I put a strategy together, and then I just got a programmer to write it for me. And it's actually quite basic. It just looks for opportunities like with the RSI and the MACD.
Okay.
But then it scales as it goes in. So I just have to use really small lot sizes. It is consistent. It makes about like 25% per month.
That's not bad. That's actually pretty good. That's
Yeah,
actually
it's
pretty
pretty
good.
good. Yeah.
So I'm guessing like as it's running, you're also like manually like, looking at it, making sure that it's not exceeding like certain levels or like, those things, like
No,
there's no babysitting
I
involved.
don't have to do anything. No, but the thing is, the drawdown just does get quite bad sometimes. Like the worst I can get to, it's like a running like minus 40% at one point. But I've had it running for 5 months now, and it's never blown it. And it does make it. Yeah, it takes about like 3.8
We got
pips.
our fingers crossed, and we got wood over here, so we're gonna knock on wood for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, things that happen. No, man, awesome. No, it's pretty cool. Like, like different stories and this and that. How'd you find out about like our profile and like, the Wix Don't Lie and trading and that?
It was just from looking around Instagram. Really, I was quite shocked by how good your risk management is, and how what kind of profits you're making in your trades. Because most people, they struggle to make a consistent profit, and I was like that for a good year. I was just blowing balances. I had nights where I literally cried myself to sleep because I had so many horrendous losses.
Oh, bro. There was a time. There was a time like we were living in an apartment, and there was a time I laid down in a fetal position on the sofa and just cried. This was like 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and I just cried. I'm like, holy fuck, like what's going on over here? like you do so good in your life, like at your work, at your job, or whatever, at sports. But when you come over here, man, you get your ass kicked by not by the market, but by your own head, because you can't control yourself.
Yeah, that's true. I know. You just have to, learn to accept it. You're always going to have red days eventually, so long as you control the risk properly. Which, of course, you're great at, but my EA, it's just has its own way of controlling risk, I suppose. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's good, Harry. That's good. But hey, listen, Harry, it was great talking to you. I wish you all the best with the algo. So we're going to try to see if we can get someone else on here now soon.
Yeah, sure, man.
All right, brother. Take care. All right, beautiful. So let's see here. So we got our last guest. Our last guest is going to come on over here. I was looking for a name. But the name is not here. All right, let's see here. Let's do this raffle over here. Random raffle. Da-da-da. And, all right, let's see here. We have the Dragon Trader FX. The Dragon Trader FX. We're getting the Dragon Trader over here. Let's take a look. Loading. It's loading and loading. And nothing. Ooh, Dragon Trader FX from the Gulag. No answer so far. Let's take a look at the next one. We got Jav 8 Hash. Jav 8 Hash. Bring Kervin. Kervin's busy right now, so I'm not sure if Kervin's going to be available.
No, it's kind of dark here, but how are you?
I'm good, Nate. How are you?
Chilling, good. I just wanted to ask, what was the one concept that Uncle Ted taught you that really stuck with you?
Light.
Oh, you want me to show my face?
Yeah, man, of course.
Now, it's kind of messed up too.
That's okay, bro. We need to see your face and that.
All right then.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go, man. Yeah, it's pretty good. Very nice, bro. So yeah, what was the question again?
It was the one concept that Uncle Ted taught you that really stuck with you.
One concept was, he said it takes time. That's it. Like, I remember he sent a voice note once, and the voice note was, remember this in life, things take time. Tattoo this on your forehead, tattoo this on the top of your ass, tattoo this wherever you want, but things take time. And bro, it just takes time. Like, you want to have a kid, it takes 9 months. Once the kid is born, you want it to walk, it takes time. You want the kid to talk. Sometimes, you know, some kids talk when they're 1 year old. Some kids take 3, 4 years to talk. You know, it just takes time. You can't rush it. Very simple, but very important concept. And this concept, bro, this is the hardest to implement. Hardest to implement. Like, think about this. We go to university, you know, we spend 8 years in university to be able to get a job so that we can pay back the loans, right? 4 years to graduate, and then it takes years to get a promotion. And people are happy working there. Like, I have some people who are making more money in trading than they are at their job, but they're still working at the job because they get like medical benefits and whatever the case may be, right? But it just takes time. Yeah, trading, it's just like that. It just takes time. Can't rush it.
Right.
Yeah, bro. So how are things so far? I know you're in my group, right?
Yeah, I'm in your group. I signed up about 3 months ago. You know, just learning, to be honest.
Yeah, but like at the same time, I think the risk management has been like the turning factor here. You know, just like the way how I see it, if someone's taking like 1 or 2 trades a day, there is no reason someone can blow their account, man. Like, the only reason people blow their accounts is taking more than 2 trades. That's it, taking more than 2 trades. Because when you move into like the second trade and the third trade, as you keep moving up the number of trades, for some reason, the lot sizes, they keep on increasing. You know?
It's true. Yeah, I've been a victim of that.
Yeah, like you start with small lots and the number of trades increase and the lot size increases too. You're like, oh my days, mate. What is going on here?
Yeah, that's true. But you know, obviously at the start you do struggle with like 1 or 2 trades because, you know, sometimes you're not happy with the amount of money you've made, but that's just your psychology, isn't it? You've got to pin that down.
Yeah, bro. Like today I took a loss. You know, it was a losing trade. And just like, think about this, right? So you're live. You have like 3,000 people watching you. You know, you take a trade. It's a losing trade, and you're not pressured to take another trade. You know, even though there are people watching, there's no pressure to take another trade because like, you know, there's going to be another trade tomorrow. So I think sometimes, you know, it's this sense of trying to prove yourself. That, okay, you know what, you took a loss and now I got to revenge this loss and make it back. You know, once you realize that it's okay, because like at the same time, bro, like listen, if you're going to take 1 trade a day, sometimes, you know, guys take 1 trade, you win a trade, and then you're like, okay, now I'm going to move to the next trade. That works perfect. But when you lose a trade, you're still taking 1 trade, and instead of moving on to the next day, you're moving on to the next trade. You know? So your 1 trade is a win or it's a loss. You know, if it's a losing trade, you have to make sure that you're really managing your risk as it goes in drawdown, as you're trying to close trade and whatever that's going on over there. You know, but it just takes time. That's one tip Ted told me. It took time. You know.
See, Mac, as soon as I turned the lights on, Mac said, turn the lights back off.
Turn the lights back on. But yeah, man, it was really nice putting your face to the name. Now I know who you are.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, brother. Awesome speaking to you. Take care. Have a good night.
You too. I'll see you tomorrow in the Zoom, yeah?
Yes, sir. I'll see you tomorrow morning. All right, so let's get our last guest, and then we're going to call it a day over here. And some people are saying if this is going to be recorded or not on the profile, and that's yes, this is recorded. Oh, we have Mr. Let's see here, Mayum K. Mayum K has been sent a request for a long time. And we're going to get Mayum K on, and then we're going to call it a day here. It's almost 6:30. Hello, Mr. Mayum.
Hey.
How are you, mate? You're doing good?
Good, mate. Just reviewing your video.
Oh, nice. Oh, the recaps, the Asian recaps.
Yeah. Just was looking at that while I was listening to you at the same time when you had the guests and that. Yeah. How's it going?
Yeah, nice, nice. Like a lot of you UK people are up late to trade the Asian session.
You know what? I've been avoiding the Asian session, and then the last few days I was having going to bed late, having trouble sleeping. I thought, okay, I'm gonna just check it out, and you get drawn in, and then you're like, okay, you know what? Maybe it's not such a good thing because then it kind of affects my psychology in the morning if you're tired.
Hamayim, you heard that noise of MetaTrader, right?
Yeah.
You heard that MetaTrader noise?
Yeah.
These platforms, I believe, they are programmed to make us lose. You know, I'll tell you why. Now, when you're not looking at the MetaTrader and you're looking at something else, it's going to make this sound. You know, ding or bring. It's going to make that sound. So you look at it, you're like, oh. So when you look at it, you look at a chart. You know, you look at a chart, you're like, oh my God, there's a trade right here. This thing will go down. So like subconsciously, it's like these noises, they attract you to trading.
No, it's important what you refer to about having your routine. The more free time you have, the more you like. It's like an addiction, isn't it? Looking at the charts, looking at the candlesticks, the patterns, and everything. It becomes a bit of a, mesmerizing. I guess I don't know what it is, but it's got that attribute. So yeah, I try and go to the gym, do other few bits and pieces, just to step away. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. So let me ask you this. How did you start trading? How did you get into Forex, and how's your initial experience been in trading?
Maybe like a year and a half, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, actually.
Oh, okay.
I was I started to, I joined a group of guys at school trading just gold. And I had a tough time trading gold. I didn't realize at the time that it was one of the toughest pairs to trade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was super volatile, super a lot of wicks, a lot of It was difficult to trade. So I didn't really have success, but I was super interested in this. The kind of freedom of time that it could potentially bring to me. I didn't just give up, although I didn't have success in it. So I was while I was trading that, and then I was ramping down a little bit, losing a bit of motivation from it, not having success for a year or so, I started to come across randomly your videos. I was searching for I guess more knowledge, seeking knowledge, and I was looking everywhere. And then I don't know whether it's the algorithms or whatever it was, but slowly I saw one of your feeds. And I was like, okay, because you see a lot of feeds actually, you know what I mean? And it's hard to tell what's quality and what's just an ad and all of this kind of stuff,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so it was but then consistently I just saw more and more of your videos, and they weren't they were more kind of organically fed rather than ads. So I was just curious and kind of looked at it. And I think then I reached out and I was talking to you and stuff. And then I was just following just the YouTube side of it for a while. And then I thought, okay, you know what? I spent a lot of money on education before. And in comparison, this wasn't a lot. I understand it's a big investment, but it wasn't a lot. So I just I just went for it. I needed that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. That's pretty good. So before we go, so I have to leave here. Before we go, in terms of we all know, we got to be disciplined. We got to have risk management. What do you see yourself? What's that one thing you think that you're slowly fixing towards to go where you want to be?
So since May, I know I'm maturing a lot more. Every day, every month that goes by, I'm learning the discipline not to hit that button, just holding back and waiting for another candle to close, or just saying, okay, this doesn't look quite right or feel right, or jumping out of a trade that doesn't feel good if you have gone in, you know what I mean? It's that, and learning what's good for me and what's not. Even today, I realized doing a few nights of Asian session again, realized, no, that's not for me actually, it's not for me. It could be for somebody else, but it wasn't suitable for me. Just before, doing over trading, lots of trades all the time. Now it's 3 or 4 trades, and now I want to get that down to even 1 or 2 trades, That's it.
Yeah, bro, the audio cut out. It's coming from a speaker, so I think this is a sign from the universe.
No worries.
But really nice talking to you. Thank you everyone for turning up. So take care, Mayim. Have a good night.
You too. Good night.
We'll see you tomorrow morning, and everyone else. This was recorded, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at the New York Asian session, 6:30 a.m. Eastern. Okay, Mayim, camera ko haath milane
Chalo.
camera ko. ये बात